All right, so you guys are here because you want to build stronger bones and you want to know exactly how to do it, because a lot of times we're actually doing it wrong. So we are going to run through a body weight workout. All you need is one chair. If you haven't checked out the first video of this 3-part osteoporosis series, that's just going to talk about what osteoporosis is and the exact 3 things you should be doing if you have it or want to prevent it. This being an arthritis channel, you likely are dealing with some sort of nagging joint pain or some degree of arthritis, and that's totally fine. We take that all into consideration for this workout. So these are going to be higher impact activities. They're going to be a little bit more intense. Rest as you need to, use support as you need to, because these are all going to be likely some new movements that you've never done before. My name's Alyssa. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and founder of Keep the Adventure Alive, but I am also an arthritis specialist, and I have been working with so many people who have had osteoporosis, because osteoarthritis and osteoporosis can actually very commonly go together. And so we are trying to get stronger bones. Even if you don't have osteoporosis, we can all benefit from some stronger bones. So here we go. So first, what I want you to do is we're going to actually sit down in the chair. We're going to start in the chair. So these higher impact activities are all about adding speed and force to movements, because a lot of times we're not necessarily doing that. And so for the first thing, all I want you to do is you're just going to sit down, and all we're going to do is just stomp. So I just want you to stomp one foot and then the other. This is just to kind of get those joints warmed up. And you're just stomping. It doesn't have to be as hard as you can, but we're just starting to get some stress through those bones and get your legs moving a little bit, get some blood flowing. So this is going to be mostly leg dominant, because the most common joints affected are the hips and the spine. You can get it in your wrists and forearms, but most of the time we're talking about the hip. Okay, now what I want you to do, if you're in a chair with arms, hang on to the arms. If you're not, just hang on to the bottom. But what I want you to do is now you're taking both legs down at the same time. So you're just standing, or you can even hold on to the arms, or you can even do it without hanging on. That's fine too. Get a little bit more core involved. Again, just go as hard as it feels good to you. It does not have to be as hard as you can, just warming up. So these are both good exercises that you can do just sitting, but I don't recommend doing all the exercises in sitting. We're going to get much more benefit out of standing. Okay, now what we're going to do is now you're going to sit on the edge of the chair, and I just want you just to kick out a few times, add some speed to it. Lean back a little bit just to get some blood flowing in those legs. And you can add in the arms if you want to, but you're just leaning back and just straightening those legs as best you can, or just staying here and kicking. I want you to try to add some speed to it though. You're making a seated speed march kick, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now our heart rates are going. We got some blood flowing. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to that stomp. But now what we're going to do is actually stand up. So it looks like this. It's called a stomp squat. You're going to stomp down and stand up, and then sit down. Stomp and stand up. I want you to think about standing up as fast as you can. We're trying to be powerful in this. Stomp and stand up. Because if we're just doing a little stomp this way, that's not really going to get us anywhere. So if you need to push off with the arms, stomp and push up. Stomp and push up. If not, I want you to stomp and stand up. Use those arms. And these can be much harder than regular sit to stands because you're putting a lot more force behind them. And we're just going to do 3 more here. 3, 2, stand up fast. Excellent. Okay, now we're going to actually turn the chair around so we have the back of it. Even if your balance is super great, I like to do this one with a chair. Okay, so the next thing what we're gonna run through, heart rates are going a little bit. All you're gonna do, I want you just to kick up, start to get the backs of those legs really fired up here. Again, just kind of a warm up, get things going. And then I want you just to kick out to the side, get those hips going, just as far out as is comfortable. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just to kind of get some things moving. Now, what you're gonna do is we're just gonna start just a regular calf raise. Let's do about 6 to 8 of these just to get this going. I want you to go as high as you can. I want you to try to go all the way up, which is why the chair is helpful, or else it becomes too much of a balance exercise. Okay, so now this is called a heel drop, and this is one of my favorites because no matter where you're having pain, this usually does not flare it up. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna raise up on your toes and then let yourself come down. Raise up on your toes. Just let your heels drop down and drop down. I like to do this just hanging on to anything because you get more range of motion. If I'm not holding on to something, I likely can't get up as high. So we're trying to raise up and then let those heels just come down. And the idea is for our hips to take some of that stress. So from the front, you're raising up and dropping down. And you can soften the blow a little bit, but the idea is to put some stress through those hips. And we're just gonna do a couple more here. This is also a great warm-up activity before you do any workouts or anything. This one can just kind of get those hips ready. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we're gonna set the chair to the side. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a lateral hop. So you're gonna hop and hop, hop and hop. Then you can make this quicker. Increase the speed. Hop, hop. And we're just gonna stay here. Now the further you jump, the harder it's gonna be and the more intense it's gonna be. The shorter distance, the easier it will be. So find your difficulty. Really focus on pushing off that outside leg and just kind of lightly tap with the inside leg. Get those heart rates going. That's what I like about these movements, is adds a little bit of cardio into it too, because jumping just is a little bit more intense. Now you can absolutely do this just stepping, but I want you to think about that stomp. Think about that stomp, or you can actually add in the jump, which is going to be more difficult. 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to run through those again. So the first one was the stomp squat. So back here we're doing 10. Sit to the edge, use your arms if you need to. You're stomping, and I want you to really think about powering up. And I know some of you are probably thinking, well, how do I know how hard to stomp? Whatever feels good to you. We don't want it to be like as hard as you can, but I want you, don't be afraid to put a little bit of force into it. I know sometimes we're thinking with arthritis, should we avoid high impact? And actually high impact is what, a lot of times what your cartilage actually likes. So just go however feels comfortable to you, and modify if you need to. I think we have one more. Sorry if you're actually counting. I think that was more than 10. Okay, so that's number 1. Now number 2. We're back to those heel drops. So raise all the way up and come on down. Raise all the way up and come on down. Raise up, let those heels fall. And we're gonna do 7 more here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're back to those lateral hops or lateral stomps. Whatever feels good to you. Here we go. push off or stomp with some power, whatever you like, but I want you to get your heart rate up. And don't be afraid to challenge yourself either. Sometimes people have knee pain side to side, and that's okay. That you can just stomp then. But if you're feeling okay, this is going to get you a little bit more benefit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're probably thinking, well, I just have to do high impact exercise every single day. And no, that's not true. One of the key things that we want to keep in mind is you want to get, now bear in mind this all depends on how severe your osteoporosis or osteopenia is, but you want to accumulate like 50 jumps 3 times a week. So this is something to incorporate a few days throughout the week. So a couple more higher impact type things that I like to do. Let's do one more circuit, so we'll run twice through it. The first one is just a jumping jack. In and out. You can speed it up here, or you can actually just walk it out, walk it in. But again, stomp, stomp. So if your jumping does not seem good to you right now, then I want you to do this. You're out, out, in. If you can jump, the movement is a jumping jack. So we're just jumping. You can slow it down like how I was doing. These are also great to do like throughout the day if you just stand up for a second. 3, 2, and 1. So see, there's lots of ways to modify these things. So even if this is difficult for you, that is okay. Now the next one is going to be, so balance is also super important. And you know, I'm all about balance. So the next one, what I want you to do is you're going to hop forward on one leg, get your balance, and try to stay there. So just a small hop forward, get your balance. Okay, then step back. Jump on the other foot, small hop forward, get your balance. Small hop forward. I want you to hold that balance for like 5 to even 10 seconds. And if you need to, you can take off with both feet and then just land on one foot. Or just take a big step. All of these are very possible. So if you can hop forward on one leg, do that. You can hop on 2 and stop on 1, or you can just take a giant step forward and hold it there. So I want you to keep doing this. So you're just alternating legs and trying to get your balance. Hold your balance 5-10 seconds. If you can't do this, or if this is really hard for you, just lightly hold on to a chair. Jump, and then come back. Jump, and then come back. Jump, and then come back. If you have arthritis and you're coming through this, like, how the heck am I supposed to do all of this jumping with knee pain, hip pain? I actually have a blog post on why jumping is important for osteoarthritis, and that's going to be in the description below. All right, one more time each side. So you're hopping forward and getting that balance, and then hopping forward and getting your balance. Okay, so that's the second one. Now the third one, so all we're going to do is you're just going to find a line or find an imaginary line on the floor. We're gonna come forward, come back. Forward and backwards. We don't move backwards very often. You can add in just a little bit of a hop, but the main thing I want you to focus on though is speed. I want you to go quick. So if it's like this, that is A-okay. If you want to add in, a hop so you can go a little bit faster, that's perfect too. This is all about finding your difficulty and getting the most out of it. And we're going to go for 15 more seconds here just to raise that heart rate a little bit. Or just take it quick. 3, 2, and 1. We're back up top to the jumping jacks. We're going to run through those 3 one more time. So again, step out, stomp out, stomp in, jump, or slow it down. These usually feel nice if you can slow it down a little bit, or this one can get kind of awkward with the arms, so you can leave the arms out of it if you want to. Out and in, or if you're feeling awesome, then add that jump. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so for this one, you're going to do that hop forward, any of the ways that we talked about. Land on one foot, stand here, get to where you can feel comfortable, and then jump. Don't rush the jump. The idea for this one is balance. So don't rush the jump. I also want you to alternate legs. Again, if you need to, hang on to something. And I even like to kind of alternate between all of the options that I gave you. Even if you can hop on one leg. Sometimes that can be really difficult, especially when you start to get under fatigue a little bit. And we're going to go for about 10 more seconds here. Find that balance. Find that balance. And last one. Okay, now the third one. All right, so this is the last thing that we're going to do for those legs. You're hopping forward and hopping back. Or you're stepping quickly. We're going to stay here for about 30 seconds. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. Okay, so now we're just going to run through one more balance exercise because balance is so huge with osteoporosis. So the last balance exercise I want you to do, you're going to stand on one leg and you're going to tap forward, side, back. Now, to make this harder, if this is pretty easy for you, forward, side, and back, to make this harder, I want you to cross, out, come behind you. Cross, out, come behind you. Cross, out, come behind you. Or you can tap side and then back, forward, side, and back. But to make it a little harder, be really light on that toe, and you can cross, come out, and then come back in. So you're kind of making a weird C-looking thing. And you should start to feel this in the hip that you're standing on. Or forward. I like to always tap in the middle on that one. But for if you're crossing over, you don't necessarily need to. I just want you to reach all ways. And we're going to finish with just 2 more here, all the way around. And last time through. And now you're going to switch. Stand on the other side. As always, hang on to something if you need it, but you can start forward, side, back, forward, side, back. You can even make it harder by just not touching the ground at all. Or you can add that cross where you're crossing over, out to the side, crossing behind you, crossing over to the side and back, over, out to the side and back. So if you haven't watched the first video on osteoporosis, I would highly recommend it because there are other things that you need to consider besides just high impact activity. Also, with any sort of osteoarthritis that you have going on, there definitely are considerations. Again, these are just kind of general exercises that can be very, very helpful for osteoporosis, but taking into account any sort of nagging joints, modify anything however you need to. We're going to go 2 more all the way around here. And last one. So make sure that you do check with your doctor if you haven't gotten a DEXA scan. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're over 50. Especially if you're a woman over 50, osteoporosis is a very, very common. And so one of the things, even just adding in some of this high impact activity or knowing somebody who maybe isn't adding in high impact activity, because walking isn't going to do it for you. And we talk about that in the other video. So if you haven't watched that first video, go down to the description below and you'll see a link to that. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you liked this, you can add it to the end of one of your workouts. Even if you go for a walk, you can do it before or after, whatever you need to do, or run through it twice. You just want to listen to your body, especially when you're just starting high impact exercise. If you notice a lot of stiffness, a lot of soreness afterwards, then maybe we tone it back next time, or we decrease some of the force that we're putting through, or decrease some of the jumping, and then you can kind of work your way up. The whole idea is just to start incorporating some of this stuff, and even if we can't do all of these exercises at once, that is okay too. So just kind of finding some things, and I'm going to do there's another video to this series, so it's a 3-part osteoporosis series where I'm going to show you some of my favorite TRX suspension training exercises. So if you're watching this video after the fact of this 3 video series, you can just go on to the next one if you have a TRX suspension trainer at home. If you don't, I'm going to put a link below to the one that I love. It's about half the cost of a original TRX, and it's only about $50 to $60 depending on when you're looking. So I will put a link to that below so you can get prepared, because that is an awesome way to add in some support and just add in some fun to the high impact exercise. So if you liked this video, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. You guys know what to do. And again, my name's Alyssa. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I'm an arthritis specialist. So this whole channel is about arthritis, what comes with it, and how we thrive even though we have arthritis. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.